Hello guys, and while our allies are still doubting whether to allow Ukraine strike deep inside the Russian Federation, some really good sabotage things happen deep inside the Russian Federation. If we just look at the events of this week, we may clearly see the tendency is growing. A serious explosion took place in Yekaterinburg, close to a military building where one of the military units is located, which led to its neutralization. Russian students decided to set on fire a combat helicopter Mi-8, which costs millions of dollars, and they actually succeeded. Another important thing happened in Belgorod region, which is already a war zone, you know that. A cargo train derailed and most likely a part of the railroad was destroyed in the result of the sabotage work. And more people are afraid to work on Russian military plants and factories because smoking gets very dangerous in these places. So let's have a look at this important sabotage symptoms and what they mean for the future victory of Ukraine and all the democratic world. From an ordinary Ukrainian perspective. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and to see Russia defeated. I promise we will soon discuss this on the channel, same as Putin's imprisonment. But right now, let's talk about sabotage epidemic that is growing deep inside the Russian Federation. And I don't mind. Actually, I like it. In some cases, we know that some of the operations were organized by Ukrainian HUR or Ukrainian soldiers or agents, but in many cases, it is likely that these may be people inside the Russian Federation. Let's hope one day they will change something inside this dying empire. And let's start with Yekaterinburg, which is really far away from the front lines. It is actually Siberia. Siberia is close to the Urals in Russia. And in that Yekaterinburg, a serious explosion took place near one of the locations of the military groups, with the neutralization of people being there. They did not manage to prevent it, they did not find it, and actually this is a very good punishment for all the war crimes that people from that location, from that units were responsible for in Ukraine. One of the most important things that we do now and that modern surveillance cameras allow us is actually identify those guilty of some very bad war crimes. But that's really difficult because according to the official analysis, Russia is guilty of more than 137,000 war crimes in Ukraine. And just have a look how they destroyed a civilian vessel that was trying to bring wheat to Egypt today in the Black Sea. That is a crime, and not just against Ukraine, but against humanity. I know that last night we have neutralized another Russian Su-30 evil bomber that was actually working in the aquatorium of the Black Sea. I don't know for sure, but I pray this was this evil aircraft that actually targeted the vessel. Once again, let's wait for the satellite images for more information, and so far we can clearly discuss another sabotage event that took place in Noyabrsk, a city quite far away from Ukrainian border, where two students decided to destroy Russian Mi-8 combat helicopter. It is modern, it is expensive, and it is gone. Only a tail remained, and I actually loved reading this kind of news, like only a tail remained. They said they were promised money, but no money and no Russian Mi-8 helicopter. Like if you like it as I like it, and please subscribe if you're new. That's the best way to help us spread more information about Ukraine, and we need that a lot. So, another important event took place in Belgorod. Belgorod is a war zone. They have lots of explosions on military objects, and they also use this territory as a platform for supplies and logistics of the Russian army, and they they use railroad actively. So recently a cargo train was derailed and a part of the railroad was destroyed. According to Ukrainian media, HUR and some of our Ukrainian sabotage groups are responsible for that. I think it's very realistic because more and more of the Ukrainian soldiers and Ukrainian agents are now working in Russia territories that border with Ukraine, like Kursk, like Belgorod, like Bryansk, and I'm sure sometime soon we will hear more of such things happening all around Russia. But there are some very interesting internal processes, and I was happy to learn that right now many of the military enterprises, plants, and factories inside the Russian Federation and even Belarus lack people. They work in many shifts, they want to produce lots of evil instruments that they can later use against Ukraine and potentially other democratic countries. But, they often become targets for Ukrainian drones. They work really effectively, and despite the fact that Russians always pretend nothing happened, it was just a loud sound, it was just a big fire, someone smoked, fewer and fewer people are ready to work on such locations because they clearly realize this is a very dangerous place. And this is actually one of the missions of Ukrainian Angry Birds, to demonstrate to the Russian population that war is dangerous and it is coming back to your home, because please always be careful what you are wishing for. Now it's time for them to taste their own medicine. I hope the decision to allow Ukraine strike back will come in the next days, because taking into account how quickly Russia's allies supply her with ballistic missiles, for example, Iran, North Korea, well, I'm sure you see this injustice, and I pray that you are on the side of Ukraine and you realize that we need to defeat this evil. Once again, especially taking into account that modern Russia threatens the world, not just Ukraine. Have a look how they provoke NATO countries with drones, Latvia, Poland, Romania. They provoke Sweden, Finland, they use other instruments to interfere. And it's not a joke, it's a test whether we are strong enough to stand against the bully and defeat it. It is totally possible. And today's actions in the Black Sea, when Russians destroy a civilian vessel that carries wheat, for me, Ukrainian, a person whose country and whose previous generations went through the horror of bread, of famine, artificial famine, Holodomor, it's always very painful to learn about the destruction and burning of grain, wheat. It's very triggering, and it's a crime. We've also learned about the matter of workers of the Red Cross, once again by Russia. And what is bad that so many international organizations, including the Red Cross, remain expressing concerns. Concerns do not work with murderers. Only actions. Let Ukraine strike back. Let us burn all of their evil military objects, and hopefully more and more sabotage actions will take place deep inside the Russian rear. We need to get deep inside Russia, because these evil decision-making centers are there. The storages of the weapons that they use against us, the weapons and tools and instruments that they use to terrorize the world are deep inside the Russian Federation, and our task is to neutralize that. There is no way to forget about their crimes. There is no way to negotiate that. There is no way to close your eyes on this matters of people in the 21st century in thousands. And I know you support my opinion, so please share those videos that you consider important, useful on those social platforms that you use. Remember to join me on Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Discord, and all the links that you need are in the description of this video. We have a really good merch shop with lots of items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. The link is also in the description of this video. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, and thank you so much for being friends of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!